we're going to take a look at doing scientific notation in the calculator. This is not about necessarily how to do scientific notation, but more about how to use the calculator. So you can see we have to write this number in scientific notation. So we're going to pull up our calculator. And the first thing we want to do is to make sure that our calculator is in scientific notation. Now, a lot of times, calculators will look like this, and it'll say normal. And we're going to want to arrow over to scientific notation and hit enter. Once you hit enter, to get off of this screen, you clear it out, and then we can type this number in scientific notation. Now, all you have to do is make sure that you get the proper number in there with the correct amount of zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and then hit enter. And our answer is 7.09 times 10 to the 6th power. Taking a look at another problem here, we're going to write this number in scientific notation. So we pull our calculator up. And once again, all you have to do is to make sure that you enter this in properly. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and then 8, 8, 8. And then you just hit enter, and it turns it into scientific notation for you. So this is 8.88 times 10 to the negative 5th. Looking at another problem, now this one gives us scientific notation, and it wants us to turn it into decimal form. In this case, we're going to have to switch this back to normal. So switch that back to normal by hitting enter, clear to get rid of this, and now we can type this in. Now when we type this in, 3.94, I like to hit this times 10 to the N key, and then all I have to do is to stick in my exponent, so to the 9th. Hit enter, and it turns it into a decimal form for you. You just write this number down. So being able to go back and forth from scientific notation to normal in your calculator is important. Okay, so now we've got another question. Now this, what's important is that you plug this in exactly how it looks, but it also wants decimal and scientific notation, which our calculator will allow us to do pretty easy. Now I've already got it in decimal form, so I'm going to type this in and just get my decimal form answer first. So we're going to go parentheses 2.71, and then I'm going to hit times 10 to the n and put negative 3. Now, very careful that you don't do your parentheses here, because you can see that parentheses is small. So what you're going to have to do is arrow out of this and then hit your parentheses. If you don't arrow out, it leaves everything as your exponent. And then we can square it. So square this. Now it looks exactly like the problem. Hit enter, and there's the decimal form of your answer. So now you want to turn this back to scientific notation. Enter, clear that out. And because I've already got the problem, as long as you don't clear the problem, all you have to do is hit enter, and now it gives it to you in scientific notation. So it's very easy to switch back and forth from scientific notation to decimal form, unless you happen to clear the problem out. Then you'd have to retype it. Okay, taking a look at another problem. Once again, we want to type this in exactly how it looks. So I'm going to clear this. We're going to go parentheses 4.3 times 10 to the negative 3rd. Once again, you have to arrow out before you do your parentheses. And you'll be able to tell if you didn't arrow out, because it'll leave all these numbers small. Then parentheses 2.3 times 10 to the negative 6. And then once again, we've got to arrow out to do our parentheses. Hit enter, and 9.89 times 10 to the negative 9 is our answer. Looking at our last problem, the reason why I wanted to show you how to do this one is because a lot of people put this fraction bar in as division, but we don't want to hit the division here. I want this to look exactly like this problem. So we want to turn this into a fraction. This is our fraction key. So once we hit that, it allowed me to put something on top and bottom. Well, on the top, we're going to go 1.05, maybe if I hit the 5, there we go, times 10 to the 5th. And then you have to arrow down to the bottom and go 1.5 times 10 to the negative 2. And then once you get it in and it looks exactly like that, just hit enter, And the answer is 7 times 10 to the 6. So the important part in this is knowing how to use your calculator, knowing how to change it from scientific to normal using the mode key, and then just making sure that you type it in exactly the way it looks.